Okay, in this section, let's talk about what stops people from reaching out. What are the most common barriers that we've seen over the years that stop it from happening? Anyone want to start? Deborah, you've been around. You've seen over the years a lot of reasons why people don't reach out to you.
I think, well, and we've talked about this, I think what's happened over the years is the teachers that have come to me have been branded as Deborah's favorite. And so there's a real reluctance to come to me sometimes because they don't want to be thought of in that way. They don't want their co-teachers to shun them or ostracize them. I think there is also a misconception that teachers have to be, the Suzuki teachers are the best, so if you don't know what to do, that must mean you're not really in that category. So there's a fear of being perceived as not having the answers that you should have. That's what I think are the two most common barriers to coming to me.
But could it also be, let me ask teachers over the years, do people think if they reach out to the support staff, things will just get worse? Are there people, honestly, are there people on teams over the years that have thought it won't get any better?
Do you mean because we'll come in and see something else or not
We'll
really
create
understand?
problems, we'll stir the pot.
Or to open up another door
Can of
to
worms.
something else, like a
Right,
can
that
of
you'll see
worms.
something else and go, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this is wrong too.
Yes, exactly.
Because I had a teacher recently say, I don't want to have the support staff in because I'm going to get in trouble. I mean, I'm like, holy cow.
But does that come from
Yes.
us or did that
That's
come
their
from
fear.
perception, maybe from another work environment or school
Possibly.
environment?
Or assumption.
It's a lack of trust, really,
Mhm,
isn't
lack of
it?
trust.
Yeah.
Lack of trust in the environment. What do you see, Ashley, over the years that have been barriers for people reaching out?
Well, I think your classroom kind of becomes your home, and you figure out what works. And like Deborah said, when there's a problem, it's, well, I need to fix it. So you try and put it on yourself. But the other side of it is, if I go for help, then I'm going to have to accept whatever help is given, whether I know how to implement it or not. So there's kind of trusting that outsider's perspective can help you. But I think another side of it is being self-aware and knowing that I need help and I need it now and not waiting, because a lot of times the problems just fester, whether it's teaming or parent relationships or, a child adjusting to the room. All of those things need to be kind of head off in the beginning, at the beginning signs, and not waiting. And I think in the fear of reaching out, sometimes you just wait too long and the problem has blown up.
Do you think, Kristen, any of it is based on people don't want to look weak?
I think so. I mean, you want to be proud of your classroom. You want to have things under control. You want to be able to show that you're capable, you're competent. And when something goes wrong, whether, like Ashley said, it's teaming or parent relations or something like that, it can bring out your own weaknesses or something that you might need to work on, and that can be an uncomfortable situation for people to have to air it out in the open or air it out with support staff who have hired them or however it is. That can be kind of an anxious moment for them.
Well, Ashley said it's kind of like your classroom is your home, right? And I guess your family is there's two ways to look at that. If your pipes burst, you don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. I have to call somebody in. But if it's the people in my family, that's a little bit harder. If somebody in my family is struggling, I still have to reach out. But that's a harder thing to do because we're afraid that we might make it worse. We're afraid of all the things that might be underlying all the symptoms, and that we might be opening up this can of worms that then we really have to deal with.
Or because it's our own fault for it happening. Like,
Or
I cannot connect with this child, so therefore I'm causing the problem. When really it's not a personal issue at all. But I do think, like Kristen said, your weaknesses come out, and it's hard to go reach out because it could feel like the fingers
You
are
failed.
pointing at
You
you.
failed.
And especially when it does come to the children, I mean, that's why most of us are here. It is, and we're used to interacting with them and having results and, being great. But if something isn't going that way, that would be a hard thing to swallow, I think. because
We-
we're here.
You care so much.
Last year, we had a situation where a classroom didn't reach out, where there was two dominant voices in the room that had a belief system, and it was a very ingrained belief system, and it was cultural probably, that we're a family, and in families you keep your dirty laundry in the family, and no matter how bad it is, you never take it outside the family. And, you know, my family, we go to the psychologist or the therapist if we need
My
to, right?
family, you go to the priest.
Right? So if you have that belief system, that's really incongruent with reaching out, isn't it? And it blew up in their face because the family problems grew and grew and grew, and they didn't have a resource to help figure it out.
So much damage is done. Ashley's right. So much damage is done in the meantime.
But the last piece that we don't see a lot, but we see sometimes, is about power and control. Now, Deborah always cringes at that word because it has a bad connotation. But let's face it, all of us need to have power. We exhibit power in many ways in our lives through knowledge, right? Through our personality even.
Through our ability, our skill.
Right. Through our positions. And what we've seen over the years is a few times, and it's been very detrimental to rooms, is people position themselves as gatekeepers.
What's a gatekeeper?
A gatekeeper is someone that they put themselves in the position that everything has to go to them. They're the spokesperson for the team.
True.
And why do they want that power? They want to control.
And why do they want to control? That's where I get hung up.
They want to control because they believe they can do it better. And that it would, the couple I'm thinking of believed that we would mess it up. And that they had to be the voices of the teacher. Never, ever let yourself get in that position, because when you do, it's taking your power away. Right? You are abdicating power when you let someone become your spokesperson. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But they are typically very persuasive people. And they promise to take care of you.
I think I'm reacting to, yes, there are people that, and it's very manipulative. But there are people, and I think we talked about this, who just feel very strongly that this is working really well.
Right.
And then you're bringing someone else in,
If it's
and
not
they want to
working,
change
don't
something
fix it.
else. So that to me is the power or the control. It's not because you have to manipulate people. You have something that's working.
For you.
Well, no, and for the children and for the rest of the team. It is working, and it's working pretty well. But someone will come in who has a different idea. That to me is what I see more often than anything else, is being strong enough to say, let's hear the idea and let's discuss it on its merit.
And I think, I mean, that power, like seeking power seems so negative, but part of reaching out is to empower
Right.
your team or your school or your children, whoever it is.
Yourself.
Yourself as well. And when the focus is on that, when you can sort of say, well, maybe step back from the situation and see that maybe you are taking it all in. If we focus on empowering each other, then I think it's a much more
Bingo.
positive
Absolutely. Absolutely.
way to deal with it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.